Hello everyone and welcome to this week's card pull. My name is Alexa. I do a card pull every single week. Recently transitioned from doing these on IG Lives with a 3-card pull and decided I wanted to do a zodiac sign based one on YouTube. So here you go. For those of you who are unfamiliar with zodiac signs and the way that they work, what I want you to pay the most attention to right now is going to be your sun and your rising sign, as well as your moon sign. If you do not know how to find these, you can go onto Astrodynes or another online website. You're just going to plug in your birth information, and then it will tell you a list of your signs, your placements, etc. Again, sun, moon, and rising, also known as the ascendant, are the ones that you're going to want to pay the most attention to today. If you want to listen to the entirety of this reading, you are more than welcome to do so. Get a download for things that you might want to pay attention to or keep in mind this week. So every single week I do a card pull. I'm going to continue these probably in this fashion for a while. I do these card readings free of charge, so if at any point you feel called to leave a donation, you are of course more than welcome to do so. So the way that this reading is going to work, I'm going to go in order of the astrological signs. I will start out with Aries and I will finish with Pisces. I will bookmark this so you can skip ahead to the ones that apply to you. The oracle cards are generally pretty positive and uplifting, so I hope that this gives you a bright start for your day and your week. Finally, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, send me a message, alexab.alchemy here on YouTube as well as on Instagram. With that all being said, I think I can move into the reading now. So we are going to start out with Aries. The card that I pulled for Aries is Bronzite. This card, by the way, subtle plug, I am using the Crystal Spirits Oracle deck. I absolutely love this deck. It's the first deck I purchased. Very uplifting in nature. So, back to the reading. This card has everything to do with loyalty, trust, steadfastness, self-respect, follow through. When I pull this card, generally speaking, it is a reminder to look at the things that you do and don't trust in life, whether that's people, situations, places, conversations, whatever it may be. If there's something popping up in your mind right now or somebody in specific, I would pay attention to that. Oracle is not meant to be super prescriptive or in your face or anything, so there is no need to have fear with this, but when this card comes up, it is asking you to look at what your relationship is to trust and loyalty. One of the lessons that I have learned in the last year or so, actually a couple of years, there are some people that maybe, or situations that maybe your intuition doesn't trust and you can't logically come up with a reason why. When this card comes up, for me at least, it is an acknowledgement of the importance of listening to that. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's right, but it may steer my conversations, my actions, the way that I want to show up in a way that is actually reflective of what my deeper truth is, which sometimes that deeper truth is hard. Sometimes that deeper truth is, I don't trust this person, I don't trust the situation, I don't trust this financial agreement, whatever it is, and I don't know why, but taking that into consideration may be particularly helpful for you. Also to note with the card of Bronzite, because this has everything to do with loyalty, this is an acknowledgement if there is a situation or a person, I'm getting person more importantly, that has lost your trust in the past. Trust needs to be earned sometimes, and there is no reason for you to feel like you need to place all of your trust into something if it has violated that contract before. It does not mean that things are irreparable. It does not mean that agreements cannot become, or you cannot come to agreements. It does not mean that everything is doomed. It just means that if you do not trust a situation, there's a reason for that, and you don't need to guilt yourself, be hard on yourself, or feel lesser of a person for that reason. This can also be an exercise in self-trust. If you do not trust something external, the relationship you have to yourself is going to be reflected in that. So if you don't trust that thing around you, whatever it is, but you continue to keep investing in it, or you continue to keep giving to it, that is almost like a violation of your relationship to yourself, and you're going to start losing trust within yourself as a result. So self-respect is incredibly important right now, and respecting the things that you feel on a very deep level, even if you can't rationally explain why. There's also, finally with this card, an element of steadfastness that's very important. Follow through. You being a trustworthy person as well, being the type of person that deserves the trust of other people, being someone that is reliable or being reliable in various situations. Whatever it is, if there's a situation where you're like, I don't know if I should do this, if I should quit, blah, blah, blah. The message of Bronzite is encouraging you that perhaps following through with your word could be something that would benefit you. Maybe it won't benefit you in the ways that you expect or that in the ways that you think, but sometimes following through on your words and just being impeccable with your word in general is a beautiful lesson in and of itself. So if you have Aries placements, I would highly recommend that you pay attention to the things that you have committed to and consider following through with said things. The next card that I have is for people who have a Taurus placement. So my Taurus suns, moons, and risings. The message that you are here to receive today is that of Spirit Quartz. I love this one. This card has everything to do with the energy of harmony, connectivity, and cooperation. This card typically will come up if there's a situation in which you are being invited or asked to share in a project with someone, asks for someone else's opinion to work together on something. There's a very cooperative spirit here. The word harmony came through very strong when I pulled this card. So there is value for you in whatever it is that you're experiencing right now in a level of connection. If you are going through a work endeavor, maybe considering what does it look like to invite other people on the team to step up and play a role in this? What does it look like to delegate? What does it look like to focus on cooperation instead of competition? If you have, if you're in a business and you have, competing businesses, instead of saying like, how can I compete with them? How can I be better than them? Saying, how can I maybe work with this person? Maybe there's a referral system. Maybe they're really good at something and you're not quite as good, but you're really good at something that they don't have strengths in. Looking at the opportunities to have harmonious connections. Doesn't mean that you have to do that, but even looking at that perspective, it might give you insights for whatever it is that you are looking for. If you feel like this is applying maybe to your home life, acknowledging how you can have more of a cooperative spirit with the people that you are sharing space with, maybe getting the word contracts coming through or agreements right now, finding some kind of a way to compromise, everything that starts with compromise, cooperation, etc. Finding ways to do things conjuntos together. This energy could be very, very powerful for you. Also, considering this, this card is kind of like the epitome of the angel number 2. It has everything to do with love, harmony, two things coming together to create something. There are definitely times when individuation is very important, and there are times when working together can be important as well. And there are certain lessons that we learn alone that we cannot learn with other people around, and vice versa. Also, right now, if this applies more to your personal life, I would say in your relationships, whether it's romantic or not, seeing what you have to learn from those experiences, learn from those things that are happening outside of you, learn from the people around you, and taking the time that you have, especially if you're in a committed relationship right now and you're questioning it, or you're like, I don't know if I want to be in this, or this is challenging, or whatever. Acknowledge that there are certain lessons you are learning right now that you cannot learn alone, and that is a beautiful thing, and that is a beautiful gift, and right now you have the opportunity to learn what those things are. So all of my Taurus signs, I would highly encourage you right now to take a step back and look at the ways that you can come together with the people in the world around you and find sort of a shared spirit. The next card that I have is for my Gemini sun, moons, and rising. This card is Watermelon Tourmaline. I did pull this card in reverse. So anytime a card is pulled in reverse, it typically is an encouragement for you to look inwards, look at yourself, instead of maybe projecting things around you. Also can be an acknowledgement that you need to look at something that might be a little bit more challenging, you might have more resistance to. Maybe it's pointing out something, a piece of your shadow, if you will. So if this card, my sweet Geminis, is a little bit more challenging for you, lean into that. There's a reason why, but hold strong and listen to the rest of this message. So this card, the card of Watermelon Tourmaline, has everything to do with the perfection of the present moment exactly as it is. I love this card. I'm gonna put it up right just for now, but I love this card. I love the colors of it. To me, it's very childlike in a good way. It reminds me of a Jolly Rancher. I think that's why. I think it's an associative thing for me. But there is a very strong correlation with this, with the natural joy. Like joy is a natural, you know, experience of our lives. And if you look at kids, I love this example. I've used this example a few times in my work, but if you look at kids and the way that they relate to life, kids work through their emotions, they work through things, so every single day they wake up and it's a completely new day. They don't really hold on to the things of the past in the same way that adults do, because their brain hasn't trained itself yet to do that. I mean, of course there are some situations, but generally speaking, when it comes to like moods and emotions, kids can be totally different from one day, 1 hour, 1 minute to the next, because they're very adept at working through things. Kids also, typically speaking, don't wake up dreading the day. They typically wake up and have excitement and this joy and exuberance for life. And this card is the embodiment of that energy right now. So my sweet Geminis, if this one is resonating with you, if this this message, it's asking you to acknowledge like what is so perfect about this life right now. A child could have a completely, and I will keep going back to this analogy because I think it's such a beautiful one, they can have a completely imperfect situation, but they still are able to find and tap into this very deep state of natural joy. And right now, if your life is challenging, again, being pulled in reverse, maybe there are some things that are really tough. I don't know if seasonal depression resonates with anyone. That's something that I've struggled with in the past. Just kind of this like melancholic mood that might be happening, especially with the time of year right now. Tapping into that natural state of joy, whatever that looks like, could be a really important and healthy practice for you, even if it's joy of the little things. Sometimes the little things are the biggest things, like a cup of I don't know, like to me, like chai tea and a weighted blanket, or candles, or I love stones and crystals, you know. So the things that really bring you this like natural state of joy, like see if you can connect with those things a little bit more today. And this doesn't have to be a thing that you go out and buy. This can be a free thing. Like if you love water, go to the beach, go to a lake, enjoy a bath, you know, these little things that bring you a sense of excitement. I would also encourage you right now to tap into your inner child and what were the things that you loved doing as a kid? What were the things that brought you joy as a kid? Art, painting, dancing, movement, certain games, types of games, sports, whatever it was that brought a smile to your face and brought you some joy. I would encourage you to see what are the ways that you can employ that into your daily life, your daily practice, especially this week, because right now, if you're feeling a little bit heavy, a little bit burdened, or even if you are, you know, feeling happy and joyful, reaching further into that joy, that joyful state, might be the balance that you need, and acknowledging that there is perfection even in the shitty, seemingly imperfect situations, because they're an opportunity for you to experience that joy and to see that you're the one that decides if you're going to be happy or not. Like the only thing that's deciding your relationship to your life is you. The life itself, there are things that happen out of your control, and that can be really challenging. So if you want to experience joy, look at it from the lens of how can I experience joy and cultivate it from within, rather than how can I manipulate my life so that I can finally feel joy again. So I would encourage you to look at that path. Okay, moving on to the next card. My dear Cancers, Cancer Sun, Moon, and Rising. The card that I pulled for you is that of Lemurian Quartz. This card is like, if you're into astrology, this is like the Sagittarian energy. This card has everything to do with big picture thinking, vision, infinite possibility, not feeling bogged down by the little mundane things. As sometimes these little, you know, one thing after the next, after the next, after the next, and we can get so wrapped up in it that we lose sight of the bigger picture of life, and we lose the ability to plan ahead, or the bandwidth to make decisions that apply not only to our now, but also to our future. Right now, with this card coming up, there is a big encouragement for you to tap into the bigger picture of things. If this applies to business, maybe taking a step back. Of course, what's happening now in the present is important. Generally speaking, good business executives and leaders are looking into the future and acknowledging what needs to be done in the big picture for the long haul 60% of the time. You know, if 60% of your energy is focusing on how can I create this setup to be beneficial for me, my team, my business, whatever it is, you're giving yourself the opportunity to look at things from a different vantage point than someone who is in the middle of the mud trying to sift through it and figure it out. For any situation in life, again, not just business, if you are feeling bogged down by details, take a step back. I recommend maybe doing some meditations, anything that's going to allow you to sort of step out of your emotional reality. I'm not saying don't be present, because being present is very important. There are times when stepping out of that and acknowledging, being able to oscillate between present and future and present and past and say, okay, this is the present state that's going on. This is not permanent. This is a temporary state. What is the bigger picture of what I'm looking at, and what is the lens that I want to adopt for this specific scenario when I'm looking at that bigger picture? So, my dear Cancers, anything in your life right now, I would encourage you to look at the bigger picture of what is happening in your relationships, in your work, in your life, in this chapter. What is the bigger overarching lesson, etc., and taking this vantage point might be very helpful for you in figuring out how to proceed. My dear Leos, next card. The card that I pulled for you is that of Citrine. I love this card. This card is all about joyful expression, exuberance. Like if you just look at the color of it, this bright, beautiful orange and yellow, this energy is all about like an internal happiness almost. And this is a very Leo card. I mean, again, look at the colors. Like this is a very Leo energy. So Leo, suns, moons, and risings, tap into your Leo energy. Good God, find that happiness, find that joy, that shining light that says, I'm here. Not for the sake of showing off and, showing other people what it is, but just, holy shit, like it is so healthy to step into that state of excitement and exuberance and joy about your life, and you deserve to do it. I'm getting very strongly, you deserve to do it. Why would you not? Appreciate the life that you have, the situations that you're in, even if it's not perfect. That is kind of a theme for today's poll so far. It doesn't have to be perfect for it to be meaningful. It doesn't have to be perfect for you to find happiness. It doesn't have to be perfect for you to be exuberant and joyful. In any situation, if you are dealing with other people, bringing that joy to the forefront could really benefit you. It could, and if it doesn't benefit the situation in the way that you think, it'll benefit you in terms of what you see within yourself, which is the ability to tap into that deep sense of enjoyment for your life and excitement about it. If you are not feeling particularly vivacious, maybe tapping into the types of things that give you that energy, or the people that show up that way, or the people that remind you of that within yourself. Whatever life scenario you are in right now, I would highly recommend that you look at pulling in that whatever it is that's going to help lift up that joyful energy for yourself. Even if that means, you're feeling shitty and you're having a moody day, you sit down and watch stand-up comedy for 30 minutes just to get a smile on your face and bring a little bit more pizzazz into your character. I think this could be really, really helpful for you in this chapter and this week. Also, attending events that bring this energy to you, this life force, it's going to help continue to perpetuate this energy. So the more you step into it, the more you tap into it, the more permission you're giving yourself to tap into it, the more permission you're giving other people to do the same. So not that it's your job to take care of everyone, but definitely if you're struggling with this, acknowledge that there is so much value for you to just show up with joy and happiness and excitement for your life. The next card that I pulled, my dear Virgos, if you have a placement Virgo, sun, moon, or rising, is that of Carnelian. I did pull this card in reverse. Any card that's pulled in reverse is typically asking you to look deeper within yourself, maybe at your shadows, things that are challenging, things that you may have resistance to. So hold tight if this message is a little bit more challenging for you. Carnelian has everything to do with self-assuredness, dignity, poise, a level of self-confidence. Because I pulled this card in reverse, I have a feeling that maybe some of you, my dear Virgo, some of you may be feeling like you don't have that poise. You don't have that sense of self-confidence that you want to have, that maybe you would like to radiate it, but especially with Virgo energy, maybe there's a focus on perfectionism, and if it's not perfect, I don't deserve to show it off, and blah, blah, blah. And the challenge for you, I think, this week is going to be tapping into that sense and that state of, I guess, poise. tapping into that emotion that you have, that ability that you have to be confident within what you bring to the table. Again, Virgo energy has a lot to do with refinement and perfectionism. So if you have Virgo placements, there can, shadow side being pulled in reverse. Shadow side of Virgo is perfectionism to the point of fault or failure, maybe perfectionism to the point of not getting things done. For people who are in business, CEOs, executives, leadership roles, a lot of the times people in these roles will fail because they are not confident enough within their abilities, and they are continually hyper-focusing on the things. They're trying to perfect the things that don't really need to be perfected, and then other pieces can get neglected, and that can eventually lead into a failure, which actually diminishes the self-confidence. And I'm not saying this to be pessimistic or Debbie Downer. I'm saying this to acknowledge the importance of having confidence here and now, because that's going to shift the way that you act. If you are coming at something with an energy of self-confidence, the way that you show up, the way that you communicate with other people, your eye contact, your posture, everything is very different than if you're feeling like you don't have the self-confidence and you don't know if you deserve it. And like, your energy is going to have an impact on the way that people are perceiving you. In other situations, people are going to look at you, especially if you're in a leadership position, for guidance. And if you don't have enough confidence in yourself, again, it doesn't mean you have to be cocky or think that you're perfect. In fact, it's probably, that would be the flip side shadow. So it's not necessarily looking for that either. But you don't want to be so hard on yourself that you don't allow yourself to show up at all. So my dear Virgos, consider looking at that shadow this week and acknowledging, where is it that I can bring in a little bit more self-confidence. Sometimes, there are two different ways to do this. Sometimes that means doing more of the things that you're really good at and acknowledging, like, yes, I am good at these things. And sometimes another perspective that you could take is trying something new that you're not necessarily super good at, because it reminds you of the things that do come naturally to you. And you say, okay, well, this ballet is, kind of hard for me, and I'm not really, like, this is a challenge for me. But in doing that, I realized, like, I am very naturally gifted at working with people or with numbers or whatever it is. And it kind of reminds you of this by contrast. Like, there are things that sometimes you forget that you're really good at, and you deserve to have confidence in yourself and your abilities for those things. So my dear Virgos, do not forget the potential and the gifts that you have. All right, moving into Libra. Sweet Libras, Libra sun, moon, and rising. The card I pulled for you is Bixbite. Bixbite has everything to do with courage, drive, full steam ahead. We're going for it. If you have had projects that you're like, I don't know if I want to do this, relationship that you're like, I don't know if I want to stay in this, maybe I should leave, or alternatively, I think I really like this person, maybe I want to commit to something, I don't know. Whatever it is that you're kind of leaning towards and you're like, I think I want to do it, but I'm scared, go for it. This card says go for it. This card is the card of just, like, yes, spirited action. Whatever it is that's bringing you that energy, if the energy, it could be discomfort, it could be scary, whatever it is, but that time to take action. This card says it is time to take some damn action. So if you are struggling with this, or you don't know how to move forward, or you want someone to, run ideas off of, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to have a consultation with you. But whatever it is in your life, spirited action is going to be so important for you right now. And if you're struggling with this, surround yourself with people that encourage that side of you, people that motivate you and that believe in your abilities, so that you can have a little bit more personal power in believing within yourself. Moving into the next zodiac sign, we have Scorpios. Love Scorpio energy. Scorpio suns, moons, and risings. I pulled for you in reverse the card of Malachite. As I mentioned earlier in this reading, if any card is pulled in reverse, it could be something that you have a little bit of resistance to. Maybe it's asking you to look at your shadow, something that is hidden deep within. Cards in reverse are also asking you to turn and look within yourself and to stop projecting. So maybe if this card resonates as something that you see in other people, acknowledge how this is something that is present within yourself. The light I see in you is the light I see in myself. The darkness I see in you is the darkness I see in myself. Namaste, Right now, you might be asked to look at the darkness, but my dear Scorpios, we are very good at that. I have a Scorpio North Node, so I resonate very strongly with this Scorpio energy. Generally speaking, this card aside, Scorpio energy works really well with the dark. The dark is our teacher. So if you are in a position where things feel kind of dark and shadowy, dive one layer deeper, my dear, because that is where you are going to find the answers that you need. That's going to be where you're going to find the freedom that you are looking for. 10 times out of 10. Go a little bit deeper. The card of Malachite has everything to do with clarity of your thought process, and the combination of thought and intuition. Being in reverse, again, maybe something that's resisting, that you may be resisting. You may be leaning too heavily on your brain and your mind to give you answers, or you may be leaning too heavily on feelings, emotion, intuition, that more watery feminine side. This card is the epitome of the importance of a balance between the two. We need our logical, rational minds. They are very helpful. We also need our intuitive, emotional minds. Those two parts of ourselves combined to give us a very large sense of power. So right now, whatever situation you're in, if you are struggling with something, if it's a business or a relationship, home life, finances, I would acknowledge, okay, am I leaning too heavily one direction or the other? Or if I'm leaning into both, how can I combine those so that I can come to a very healthy, well-rounded answer for whatever it is that maybe I'm seeking guidance on. Again, being pulled in reverse this week, my dears, you may be looking at things that are a little bit more challenging in this regard. You may be looking at some shadow, maybe again leaning too far in one direction or the other, or seeing other people that are super logical or super emotional, and they're very narrow in their minds. If you are seeing this and it is challenging you, my dear, just remember it is a mirror to you and to your own experience and your own potential as a human. So not that it's an excuse for other people to treat you like shit or whatever, but I would definitely encourage you, my dear Scorpios, to acknowledge this and to just be aware of this energy and the way that it's presenting, and acknowledge the ways that it may be reflecting something about yourself that you can learn and grow from and with. If you are struggling with the oscillation between the mind, the heart, the body, all of those things, please feel free to reach out to me as well. A big piece of the work that I like to do is cultivating balance, and that is balance between masculine and feminine energy. That is not, isolated to gender. That is, everyone has masculine energy within, everyone has feminine energy within, and we need both. So if you're struggling to find the balance between the two, or understand where you naturally fit within those two, please feel free to reach out, and we can figure out a way that maybe you can find a better balance that works for you, because it is a very individual process. All right. Moving on to Sagittarius, my dear Sagittarians. If you have Sagittarius placements, especially with your sun, moon, and rising, I would highly encourage you right now to focus on self-love, because I have pulled the card of Rose Quartz. This card was pulled in reverse. Reverse is generally something you may resist, something that is maybe highlighting some shadows. If you're projecting on other people, turn within and look within yourself. So my dear Sagittarians, Rose Quartz is all about self-love, self-compassion, self-understanding, your relationship to yourself, and your ability to just fucking love yourself. Loving yourself is not a selfish thing, in my opinion at least. It gives others the permission to love themselves, and it gives you the ability to love the things that you see in other people that reflect you. If you are constantly hating on something about yourself, let's say hating on something about your body or your physical appearance, and you see someone else that has this similar trait, by hating that within yourself energetically, whether or not you're saying it to them, there is an expression there of like, this thing about me that also is about you, that is about us, doesn't deserve to be loved within myself, so it doesn't deserve to be loved within you. And I know that's generally not how people think, but giving yourself the same kindness and the same love you would want to give to someone else, or you would want someone else to be giving to you, is going to be so very important for you this week, my dears. This is also a card that really heavily encourages you to acknowledge the importance of your enoughness and your self-worth. There are times when we beat ourselves up and we say, I'm not enough, I have to be better. And sometimes, if we realize, okay, this is, there's a healthy level of that. By all means, there's a healthy level of saying, this is something I don't love about myself and I would like to change. And these can be very encouraging. Again, balance is very important. So there is an in-between that is very healthy, but there is also an extreme version when you can go overboard and feel like you don't deserve something until you acquire that, or you don't deserve to be happy until whatever. This state of I don't deserve because is something that you are probably going to be asked to start clearing or to clear out a little bit more this week. So if you're experiencing challenges with this, whether it's in your physical life, emotional life, scarcity mentality, with finances, with family, dating, relationships, I have a feeling you'll know where this is coming up, but the areas in your life where there are going to be areas in your life where you feel pretty, adequate, and there are going to be areas where maybe you don't feel like you are enough. And my dears, this is a really good time for you to look at that shadow and to start shifting those narratives. If you want encouragement or support with that, please feel free to reach out. All right, we are almost there, Capricorns. My dear Capricorns, I am with you. I'm a Capricorn sun. So Capricorn suns, moon, and rising. I pulled the card of fluorite for you. This is a very perfect card for Capricorn energy. Fluorite has everything to do with clarity of thought, purity of thought, clear thinking, focus. Very important for the ambitious side of us. So this card right now, is an acknowledgement that you're either in a state where you are clear-headed and you can move forward with confidence, or you are in a state where you need that clear-headedness and you are looking for it, and it might serve you right now to prioritize whatever it is in your life that's going to bring that to you. If you find clarity when you are meditating or doing yoga or in the gym or when you take a bath, whatever it is, a setting, a location, a person, a food, for all I care, like the things that help to bring you a sense of clarity are going to be very important for you, my dears. It's going to be very empowering for you and your energy most likely this week to tap into the things that allow you to focus better. If you need space of your own, maybe a staycation, maybe to work from home, or go work at a coffee shop where you can put in your headphones and no one will bug you. Whatever it is that's going to give you that sense of focus and clarity is probably going to be very important for you this upcoming week. Whatever it is that you need to do to establish a sense of clarity for yourself, I highly recommend that you tap into that right now. And if you are in a state where you're feeling very clear and level-headed, congratulations, it is beautiful, and I would continue on with whatever it is that you are doing right now to create that for yourself. If that means cutting off people, taking space, whatever it is, please continue to do so. I think you will find at the end of the week that you are glad that you did. We have 2 more signs left, so moving on to Aquarius. Right before I did this, as I was finishing up Capricorn, I put down the card, my hand hit the card, it did a little spin, so this may be in reverse now. Yes, okay, lovely. So we have the card of Amber. When I pulled it originally, it was not in reverse. Now it is, so take that for what you will. Cards in reverse typically are asking you to look at things that are a little bit more challenging, things you may have shadow with, resistance to, and things that just in general are maybe a little bit more of a challenge. So the card of Amber has everything to do with healthy family patterns, healing family patterns, and the narratives, especially that ancestral narratives, things that we are picking up from our lineage. This card also has a lot to do with karma, karmic cycles, releasing karma, releasing bad karma, etc. So it's possible that right now you are working through a karmic cycle that's particularly challenging. And if you are, my dear Aquarians, I send you my utmost love. If you need support in that, please do feel free to reach out. But overall, right now, this card is in acknowledgement of the concept of patterns. Patterns are very important for our lives. I think there's a very interesting relationship people have to their ancestors right now. Like a lot of people, like healing ancestral trauma is a very common theme. And sometimes people can place blame on their parents, parents, their lineage, whatever. My personal encouragement for you right now, especially with this card, is to acknowledge the power that comes with that process and to step away from the state of blame, the state of projecting it out onto other people, and to realize you are here to learn certain lessons. And those lessons are going to come through in whatever ways they're going to come through. And if they came through your family, it is not because your family was terrible. At least in my opinion, from my perspective, generally speaking, it's because there are lessons that you need to learn, and that is the way through which you are meant to learn them in this life, and that can be really challenging, but it can also, in my experience, give a level of forgiving, a level of kindness. You know, generally speaking, parents do the best that they can with the tools that they have at the time, and that is not going to be perfect. So you can always find something wrong with it, but you can always also acknowledge that, you know, generally speaking, this does not go for everyone, so I do not assume to know your life. Generally speaking, parents care about their kids, and they do try. The ways that they try may not resonate with you, you may not agree with them, and there are, of course, situations where they don't try, and that is very unfortunate. Again, though, there is a lot of power in realizing the lessons that you are learning as a result of this. Maybe it's teaching you what you do and don't want out of your life. Maybe it's teaching you boundaries. Maybe it's teaching you the power of cutting off relationships, or the power of forgiveness, or the power of cooperation. Whatever it is that it's teaching you, my Aquarians, it's probably teaching you something that is very pivotal and important for your life as a whole. So I would encourage you right now, especially if things are challenging, to give a little bit of kindness to yourself and your situation, and to try to see that there may be something really powerful for you, and also taking ownership of the fact that, you know, you are doing a lot of work to heal this for your future generations, for your kids, and that is challenging and that is hard. And of course, you know, sometimes it can be instinctive to say, like, I don't want to have to carry this burden, etc. But my God, maybe thank yourself for that beautiful gift you are giving to the life that is going to come after you. There's also a level of preservation that this card is highlighting the importance of, you know, preserving certain parts of your culture, preserving certain lessons, things that are passed down. You know, maybe your family was really, really strict, and that's something that you do not have a good relationship with them for, but they taught you a lot of discipline. So acknowledging what are the ways that you can pass forward these same concepts, whether it's to your own children or to younger generations, or even to, you know, teams underneath you, whoever it is, people that you're working with. Also, because again, it's in reverse, there may be some challenges with this. So if you are experiencing especially family dynamics that are challenging this week, I would encourage you to, again, turn within, turn to yourself and ask, what do I need? Provide for yourself. Don't look for other people to fix your problems for you, or to fix the situations for you. Try to right now really focus on what you can do for yourself and your own healing. And in doing that, in turning within and looking within and saying, how can I take power over my situation? That in and of itself is healing a lot of the trauma that you may be working through and with. Finally, the last card that I have, my dear Pisces. I'm a Pisces moon, so I resonate very strongly with you for this one. I pulled the card of selenite. So anyone, if you have a Pisces sun, moon, rising placement, or even a Pisces north node, fluidity and flexibility is the name of the game for you this week. Pulled this card upright, which is very encouraging. We've got some outward energy right now. It's possible that there may be some things that come up, maybe unexpected shifts, changes, not necessarily bad ones, but right now you're probably being challenged to go with the flow, and you are a Pisces, so you are very comfortable with that, and that is something that you are inherently good at. And if you're telling yourself that you're not good at it, my dear, you are. You are good at going with the flow. That is what Pisces energy does. We are adaptable. We can adapt, change, shift, take forms of things. We literally, it is like water. It's a fish. You know, Pisces is the fucking fish. So right now, being flexible and fluid, and the clarity that comes from that, and the clarity that comes from saying, okay, I planned for it to go this way, and it went this way, okay, I'll go with it, and then I'll go with that, instead of just being wishy-washy and saying, I don't know what to do, and I'm just gonna stand here and stay still, and I can't make a decision. Find clarity in being able to go with the flow. This may apply for your business, this may apply for your personal relationships, family relationships, finances. Being able to be adaptable right now. Adaptability is your theme this week. If you are being challenged with things and you're like, I don't know how the fuck to handle this, this is a lot, this is crazy, this is intimidating, your big encouragement right now is to just accept the piece of you that is inherently adaptable, and to acknowledge how fucking beautiful that is, and the gift that that brings you, and the opportunities that that will bring to you. I love that with this card there are two different crystals going out in different directions, so you could go this way and you could go that way. But again, the message of selenite, if you're looking at the middle part of this card, is there is a fluidity that is able to happen in the midst of two possibly totally different paths. So if you are trying to make a decision between two very different life paths right now, I would encourage you to just acknowledge that it does not matter what you choose. It does not matter what is going on outside of you, because you are adaptable and you will be able to handle either one, either way. So if you are struggling to make a decision right now, I think you will find a little bit of clarity in acknowledging that you're going to be fine no matter which path that you take. It's just a matter of which one you want to take. For my executives, people involved in leadership roles, big business, etc., this is a really phenomenal piece of perspective, for me at least, that really helps with moving forward with a decision, especially if I feel unclear or uncertain. I find a lot of clarity in acknowledging that, you know, if I take this way or that way, sometimes of course the path does matter, but if you're in a position where intuitively you're like, I don't know, it seems kind of even both ways, we could go this way or that way, it's like kind of even, you know, even grounds. The capacity to acknowledge your ability to be adaptable in either way, and to know you can carry yourself and your team and all the people that are relying on you to a state of success or satisfaction or fulfillment in either direction. That confidence you have within yourself to go either way and to say, I am fluid, I'm adaptable, I can do either, no matter what happens, no matter how shit hits the fan, I can roll with those punches. That level of confidence might help you to find the clarity you need, or give you the clarity you need to make decisions that you need to make. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have questions again, or you want to dive in a little bit deeper on one of these, please feel free to let me know. I do readings every single week, so I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure that you don't miss it next week, so that you can have a little bit of guidance, perspective, etc., to help you navigate the rocky waters of this thing that we call life. If you found this helpful and you haven't already, please make sure that you like this video or comment below. Also, please make sure that you hit subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you can be notified every single week when I put these out. And finally, as noted at the beginning, I do these free of charge. If you want to leave a donation at any point, please click the link in my bio and you are more than welcome to do so, but you are not obligated. And I appreciate you guys for taking the time right now to receive these messages and gift that I am here to share today. So thank you so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you guys on the next one. Cheers.